Hey, what's going on? It's the Son and Tim show. And we are talking Bears post-game week 16 big win over the Jacksonville Jaguars. I am actually joined by a special guest today. And I will please, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Tim Stradamus. Tim Stradamus here accurately predicted a 41-17 score yesterday. Awesome.
I got lucky.
Tim Stradamus, that was pretty awesome. But hey, look, so today, Tim, it was a tale of two halves.
Yes.
So let's talk about that really quick.
Well, let's dive into the first half, and really that was the half that I'm sure, and we talked a little bit, was extremely frustrating, especially in my opinion on the defensive end. I mean, I look at the first quarter, and in that first quarter, defensively, we gave up 6 rushes for 40 yards to a no-name running back. Glennon was, yes, I don't even know his name, dude.
Yeah, Dare Agumbawale, who had 24 rushing yards all season and catches for 25 yards all season. 49 yards all season. Dare Agumbawale, yes. But go ahead, continue. Sorry, I had that.
No, you're fine. We couldn't stop him, and then it was even worse when we did stop him on third down in the red zone. You know, on the first possession. But when you drop Robert Quinn into coverage again, what is Pagano doing? And then in the second quarter, you know, like that one possession where they scored the 7 points. It was 7 plays, 70 yards. They didn't even have a third down to convert. Mike Glennon at that point, 11 for 14, 94 yards, 1 touchdown, a 118.5 rating.
Wow.
And then had a beautiful throw to Shark, which was awesome. But our defense got thoroughly dominated in some of those early possessions. And it was really scary, especially with that no-name running back coming in. What's going to happen next week against Aaron Jones if the Packers have something to play for? What's going to happen versus 6-touchdown Alvin Kamara if we play him? Yes. If we play him. So that's very frustrating. We'll get into Roquan later, but outside of that, I saw a couple nice deflections by Tashawn Gibson. I'm still not seeing much Eddie Jackson. No pressure today from the defense. And that's one of my key points later on. 1 sack all freaking day. That's really, really, really sad. As far as the offense, Mitch had a really good first quarter. It was 6 for 8, 84 yards, a touchdown. He had 2 play action passes. Whoa, where did we see that?
Yes.
2 huge play action passes all the way to Graham. One of them on a wheel route, and then you saw the wheel route touchdown, which was awesome. So you're seeing different types of plays by Nagy. You're not just seeing play action passes. You're seeing wheel routes. You're seeing a couple flares. You're seeing different things, which is awesome, and that tells me they're more playoff ready. Son, and we'll talk about this right now. What is it about Matt Nagy and Bill Lazor that they abandon the run when it gets stuffed a couple times?
I don't know. Montgomery had a pretty nice run in the first half too. They still were not able. I think he had 10 rushes in the first half
for 34 yards, 31 or 34.
They don't like to commit to the run. I think
when it doesn't work, yeah.
Yeah, man. Maybe they thought they could expose Jacksonville's pass defense, because they do have the worst pass defense in the NFL. So maybe that was the game plan going in. That's what I think. I mean, I don't know why they abandoned the run so often as they did, but they did pick it up in the second half with the run.
They did, but just looking at the third quarter, I mean, after that huge possession, huge possession by Jacksonville, they go out and 3 and out, like within 14 seconds. Just Mitch isn't hitting any passes in that time. And then the last possession before the interception by Roquan was disgusting. I mean, all right, hold on. Sorry.
Yes, it was.
We need to talk about the Cole Kmet end around. What the hell was that? Talk about just squeezing all momentum. Whoa, that couldn't have been Lazor calling that.
I don't look, man. I mean, there were a few head scratchers throughout this game. I mean, but I wanted to go back really quick and talk about that interception, because I found it interesting that Rich Gannon mentioned that that's a high school interception.
Yeah.
I mean, that was really bad. You know what? Sometimes I don't know what the Bears do. They like to, maybe Matt Nagy wants to run these gadgets every once in a while just to keep.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's a head scratcher. Yeah.
And the two plays before the interception, Mitch didn't get his feet set, threw overhead, threw over Komet when he was wide open for a first down.
Wide open around the 10-yard line, yeah.
Overthrew Mooney.
Mm-hmm.
And then the interception where Mitch escapes like 3 different defenders, and he could have probably ran for 3-4 yards or, threw it away. But, of course, Mitch gets anxious, and he has to make a play. And then he throws that high school interception.
Yeah. Yeah, well said.
So frustrating, but at the end of the first half, Mr. Roquan Smith gets that beautiful, and then he almost gets injured.
Yes.
I was like, my throat all halftime. I'm just like, oh my gosh, did we just screw everything up, son?
Well, you know what? I mean, yeah, if we lose Roquan, we are sunk, because he is the heart and soul of this defense. And, it was on a play where he was trying to switch it from his right hand to his left hand. He was trying to look like Walter Payton out there or somebody. And then he just got hit at the wrong time. I mean, you know what? It looked bad because he went down. He got hit in the ribs. He went down on his side. It looked like he might have hurt his collarbone. It looked bad. I know all Bears fans, we all held our collective breaths.
Yeah.
So good to see him right back out there. So, I agree. I mean, you talked about it. We talked about it in the Bears preview that we have to get out of this game unscathed.
Yes.
We lost like our best defensive player.
Dude.
Which kind of reminded me of that 2018 season when we lost Eddie Jackson at the last game of the season. So it's like it almost felt like that.
Dude, that's like flashbacks. I'm having like flashbacks.
Exactly.
I forgot about that, man. That was like trauma.
Yeah, and I want to say that happened on an interception too, on an Eddie Jackson interception.
Where he slid to the ground.
Yes.
Son, this brings up a bigger issue in my opinion that I was talking to you about. So before we get into the third quarter, I want to discuss this thing where the Bears defense, son, is pretty old. I mean, I gave you that stat where it was it was Zach Pearson on the Bear Report gave this stat where, so the average NFL team plays 16% of their players on defense. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Who are 30 plus years old. So if you're 30 plus years old, the average team is playing 16% of their players 30 plus years old. The Bears play 37% of their defenders who are 30 plus. Average NFL team, 28 years old and beyond, plays about 33% of their players. Bears play 57% of their players. So 2/3 of their defense almost all above 28 years old. Mm-hmm. And they're investing $117 million in these defenders. And I think that's what made Roquan's interception scary too, because this whole defense is old, man. They're brittle. And so our 2 youngest defenders, in a way, Jalen Johnson and Roquan Smith, both possibly out. That scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, 100%. That was a very interesting stat. I wonder if that leads to, the fact that maybe the Bears might show a little wear and tear towards the end of the season because they're using, more of an aging defense out there. But
yeah, I think we're seeing that, dude, especially in their second half collapse on defense. Yeah. Even though Pagano sucks, but
yeah, I mean, yeah, I think you're right. I mean, hopefully, yeah. I mean, hopefully there's a newfound energy though with the team and the possibility of them making the playoffs because they've got a big game next week, man.
I think it's just so frustrating about that first half that Nagy abandoned the run, kept open. He kept Trubisky in the shotgun, making reads, not on play actions, but just like needing to scan the field, and that's where he's weak. And that part of that is the reason why he got that interception. It's just very frustrating having all these open sets where you're putting Trubisky in bad positions and you're not learning from it. It's just this lack of commitment from from the run scares me, especially if we get down to a team like New Orleans in the playoffs.
No, I agree.
That was very frustrating about the first half, and that's probably why if I'd rate the first half, I'd give Nagy a C-. I wasn't too impressed.
Yeah, I think that he felt that he probably had to mix it up a little bit. But I mean, you have to really pick and choose your spots, and you have to be careful where you decide you want to run these types of plays, because Mitch is, boy, you don't know what you're gonna get out of those plays, and it's like we have to hold our breath, and there were a few times where he just made the first read and he just threw that pass to Allen Robinson, and you know what? That's great. I love that. But other times when you see, he's got to make a couple of reads, the pocket starts to collapse. He's got to get out of the pocket. He's trying to make a play, and he ends up throwing an interception in the end zone, which you absolutely can't do.
Well, I mean, and that makes you question what you're hearing from. I read a tweet from, I think, ESPN that said the Bears are leaning towards keeping Trubisky after the season. And I thought about that right after that happened, and I'm just like, oh, crap. Well, anyway, go ahead.
No. We could talk about that after this. When we talk about when we look into next week's game against Green Bay, because I think the game against Green Bay will decide whether or not we're keeping Trubisky long term.